The night of broken dawn. The calm before the fracture. Lagos, January 1966. The air carried a fragile optimism, the kind that lingers after independence but before reality settles in. The streets hummed with life vendors shouting, radios crackling, children running barefoot through dusty compounds. Nigeria was young, barely 6 years free, and still searching for its identity. Lieutenant Chinedu Okoye stood on the balcony of his barracks, staring into the restless city. He was in his late 20s, sharp-eyed, disciplined, and burdened with thoughts far older than his years. His uniform was always crisp, his posture rigid, but inside, doubt stirred like a gathering storm. He had sworn an oath to protect the nation. But what was the nation becoming? Rumors had begun to spread quietly through the ranks. Corruption, political betrayal, tribal divisions growing deeper with each passing day. Ministers lived in luxury, while soldiers went unpaid. Promises made during independence speeches were dissolving into silence. Inside the barracks, conversations shifted when officers approached. Voices dropped. Eyes avoided contact. Something was changing, and everyone could feel it. That night, Chinedu received a message simple, folded, and slipped under his door. Midnight. We must talk. No signature, no explanation, just certainty. As the city outside drifted into uneasy sleep, Chinedu remained awake, staring at the note. He knew one thing: whatever awaited him at midnight would not be ordinary. And deep down, he felt it. Nigeria was standing on the edge of something irreversible. The whispered conspiracy. The clock struck midnight with a hollow echo that seemed louder than usual. Chinedu moved through the dim corridors of the barracks, his boots silent against the concrete floor. The air felt heavier, as though even the walls were listening. He reached the meeting room. Inside, a handful of officers stood in the shadows. Among them was Major Ifeanyi Nwosu, a man known for his calm authority and unsettling intensity. His presence alone explained the secrecy. The door shut behind Chinedu with a soft click. No greetings, no formalities, only purpose. "We cannot continue like this," Nwosu began, his voice low but firm. "The country is rotting from the top. If we do nothing, there will be nothing left to protect." Chinedu listened carefully. Around him, faces were tense, determined. These were not reckless men. They were soldiers who had seen too much, heard too much, and reached their limit. Maps were spread across the table. Names were mentioned: politicians, key targets, strategic locations. The words operation and timing surfaced again and again. It became clear. This was not just talk. This was a plan. A coup! Chinedu felt his chest tighten. This was treason, or salvation, depending on who told the story. "History does not wait," Nwosu said, locking eyes with him. "We either shape it, or we are crushed by it." Silence followed. Chinedu looked down at the map, then back at the men in the room. In that moment, the line between duty and rebellion blurred beyond recognition. And without fully realizing it, he had already stepped across it. The weight of decision. Sleep did not come that night. Chinedu sat alone in his quarters, the dim light casting long shadows across the room. The plan echoed in his mind like a drumbeat he couldn't silence. Every detail felt sharp, real, dangerous. By dawn, Lagos looked the same, but to him, everything had changed. He walked through the streets later that day, blending into the crowd. Market women argued over prices. Taxi drivers shouted for passengers. Life continued, unaware of the storm forming beneath it. He saw a young boy saluting a passing soldier, his face full of admiration. It struck Chinedu deeply. Was he protecting that boy's future, or about to destroy it? Back at the barracks, tension grew thicker. Those involved in the plan avoided direct eye contact, but their movements were deliberate. Quiet coordination replaced casual routine. The date was set, January 15. Chinedu stood before a mirror, adjusting his uniform. His reflection stared back at him, calm but unfamiliar. He remembered why he joined the army: to defend, to serve, to stand for something greater than himself. But now, he was preparing to raise a weapon, not against enemies of the nation, but against its own leaders. His hands trembled slightly, then steadied. There was no turning back. The decision had been made, and with it, the fate of a nation began to shift. The breaking point. Morning light revealed what darkness had concealed. Smoke rose faintly as sirens echoed across Lagos. Inside the barracks, tension peaked as conflicting reports flooded in. Some missions succeeded, others failed. Leaders had escaped. Troops were divided. Chinedu listened in silence, the weight of failure settling in. Outside, civilians watched soldiers with fear instead of pride. In that moment, he understood this was no longer control. It was consequence. The collapse of control. By the second day, control had slipped away. The army was no longer united. Orders were questioned. Loyalties fractured. Across the city, silence replaced normal life, broken only by distant gunfire and radio updates. Chinedu moved through the barracks, exhausted, his certainty gone. Major Nosu admitted the truth they had miscalculated. This was no longer a mission. It was chaos. And now, the resistance was rising against them. The dawn of consequence. The final dawn arrived in silence. The coup had failed to secure power, leaving only division behind. Arrests began swiftly. Soldiers who once led now stood defeated. Chinedu did not resist as they came for him. He looked once more at Lagos, changed, uncertain, wounded. In the quiet of his cell, the truth settled heavily. They had tried to change a nation. Instead, they had changed its future forever. If you enjoyed the story of the Night of Broken Dawn, like this video and subscribe for more African legends and forgotten histories. Share this story and tell us in the comments which African legend we should tell next.